USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
Hello, it's Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinemile. It's the podcast where we walk home from the movies. Today, we're taking our kids to see the adaptation of the animated movie from 2002, Lilo and Stitch, because everything that was animated must be brought to life.
I've heard that this one, though, isn't just a complete direct remake.
Oh, yeah?
Which makes me a bit more positive about it.
That makes me more nervous. Why would you mess with perfection? It's a great film.
I do love Lilo and Stitch. I haven't seen it that many times, and I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't really remember it that much, which I think is a good way to come at one of these things.
We threw it on for our eldest when he was 3, maybe 4. I remember watching it with him. So about 3 or 4 years ago.
Right, well,
I've seen it a lot over the years.
I remember the Elvis soundtrack banging. And of course the creature of Stitch and the little girl, you know, it's a lovely story. I think it's a more interesting one. Like when I saw that they're remaking Snow White, my first reaction is, who cares? And turned out nobody did. Like, why are we remaking this?
At least we were alive when Lilo and Stitch came out.
Exactly, and Lilo and Stitch is interesting. It's in Hawaii, it's set in modern times, it's about an alien coming down. Like, the Snow White story is so inherently dull. I just never understood why you'd want to remake that, for example.
It's also a 20-minute story.
Yeah, like there's nothing to it, you know. And the trailers looked awful, and look, we never even went to see it, and we're not here to talk about Snow White. But yeah, how are you feeling about this movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I watched the trailers for this, and I think it looks good.
The kids are really excited about it. There's been a lot of buzz in the classroom, apparently. The kids are talking about it.
The classroom?
I mean, that's marketing gold. If you've got kids talking about movies to each other, you know?
Stitch is a great creation, and I always thought that Lilo and Stitch was underrepresented in the cultural zeitgeist.
Well, it ain't anymore.
Don't you think? Like, you never see Stitch toys around anywhere. I don't think Disney rinsed him as well as they could have, because he is adorable and awesome.
Well, I think right now he's been rinsed. He's well rinsed.
He'll be rinsed now because this movie is rinsing the box office.
Yeah.
It is a smash hit.
It's blown the original out of the water, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here. So, it came out the same week as Mission Impossible last week, which we saw. Go listen to our episode on that. And it's absolutely destroyed it at the box office, and which is a funny reverse of fate, because when 2002 happened, Lilo and Stitch, the original animated version, came out and was destroyed by Tom Cruise's Minority Report. So it has got its revenge.
It's always against Tom Cruise.
Many years later.
I love that fact, but I think the gap here is much bigger than it would have been there. Like,
I don't know.
Then there would have been a small enough gap. Now there's just a humongous gap. But that makes sense. It's a Disney, like a huge Disney animation, that marketing machine behind it. And we know Mission Impossible, huge franchise, we love it, but it's never like the biggest.
It never does huge money.
Yeah, it doesn't do, the big at the box office. But I love that people are calling, like, to do a kind of a Barbenheimer thing, they're calling it Stitch and Impossible.
No.
Which I love. Because it's a great weekend for cinema, you know.
I mean, yeah, sure.
2 big franchises out. Remember they tried to do it with, was it Saw and Paw Patrol?
Saw Patrol,
and they called it Saw Patrol, which was so funny. But also, Saw is not huge and Paw Patrol is not huge in terms of box office, so it didn't really make sense.
You can't try and... This is like when the Ice Bucket Challenge happened, and then every single charity tried to have their own Ice Bucket Challenge, and everyone was just like, oh,
it's funny because
we did that.
You know the way Tom Cruise is so good, like when he's promoting a movie, like he's been coming out and he's been promoting Sinners, and like remember when Barbenheimer was happening around the last Mission Impossible, he came out and was like, it's Oppenheimer, Barbie and Mission Impossible, and everyone was like, well, no. But he's great for promoting other people's movies, so he's been out there with Sinners, and I want to see him out there talking about Mission Impossible. I mean, Lilo and Stitch.
Are you stop saying Stitch and Impossible?
Anyway, we're going to go get the kids now and see the movie, and we'll be back after we've watched it.
See you soon.
We have apprehended a dangerous experiment. Where is he?
He escaped.
He's trying to find the police cruisers.
He took the red one.
What hideous planet is caught in your crosshairs?
Shooting star! I wish for a friend. Like a best friend.
What the hell?
He's so cute and fluffy.
He is your responsibility. Got it.
We promise.
Yeah.
Before we get to our review of Lilo and Stitch, Elliot wanted to talk about it. Hello, Elliot.
Hello.
What did you want to say about Lilo and Stitch?
My favorite bit was when Lilo and Stitch was in the water.
Oh yeah, why'd you like that bit?
Because it was fun.
Yeah? And who's your favourite character?
Stitch.
Yeah, how come?
Because he's very cute.
And is there any bit you didn't like?
Yes.
What was it?
The start.
The start, why not?
It was scary.
Oh, was it too scary?
Yes.
Are you happy you watched it?
Yes. Bye-bye, everyone.
Okay, well, hi, we're back. We've been to Lilo and Stitch with the kids. If it's your first time here at the cinema, we won't spoil anything from the movie until we get to Spoiler Street, of course. Kathy, well, how are you feeling? What do you think of that?
Had a really good time, yeah. It's a lovely film to go and see. The little girl playing Lilo, cutest kid actor I've ever seen in my life.
Great casting.
She's perfection. It's funny because we recently watched Little Miss Sunshine for our Patreon. We had such a good time. And we were like, remembering what a brilliant kid actor Abigail Breslin had been. Same league here, I'd say.
Yeah.
Absolute same league.
Because the movie kind of hangs on her.
Oh, the movie is on her back.
Yeah.
And she carries it.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, she's incredible actress. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name.
We gotta say, sorry, the two of them, I think the movie rests on the two sisters.
Oh, and the older sister's brilliant.
And
as
they're
well.
both great. I wrote down their names just to shout them out.
I'm watching Dave scrambling.
Maya Kiloha is the little girl, Lilo, and Sydney Agudwong, probably butchering that, sorry, is Nani. And yeah,
They're brilliant.
as far as I can tell, well, this is an introducing role for Maya Kiloha, but Sydney Agudwong has not been in a whole lot of stuff, I think, so this is a huge breakout role for her. They're both tremendous.
She's like the third lead in the film, but the little girl, phenomenal.
I was about to say who's the second. I remembered Stitch. Yeah, of course.
Stitch is the main deal. At one point when we were watching it, our son turned to me and said, I really just want to hug Stitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? Me too.
Me too. He looks so soft.
He looks so fun.
And he looks so tactile. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
The animation's unreal. The interactions between live action and animation, perfect. Hawaii is like a beautiful, vibrant setting for it. From memory, see, I don't really remember the first film that much. So I can't. You remember them better than me. You can speak to the plot changes. But from memory, there was way more Elvis.
As far as I can tell.
Felt like there wasn't enough Elvis in this.
Needs more Elvis.
Needs more Elvis. So that was my only disappointment was not enough Elvis. But other than that, I had such a good time and it was a great family day out and the kids loved it.
Yeah, it's a good watch. I agree. We did enjoy it. The four of us enjoyed it. Our 5-year-old talked throughout, which is not a sign
next
of
to him, luckily.
I was, and
that's a sign of a good movie.
It's
to him.
exactly. It's not a sign of the movie's quality. If anything, it showed he's super engaged with it. He was asking me non-stop questions, and I'm like, I'm trying to listen to what they're saying, and you're talking over. And also,
like mother, like son.
He refuses to lower the volume of his voice, and I was like, whisper. I'm trying to whisper back.
But that's the thing, because the kids on the other side of me were all talking too, and you accept that when
they're
young.
When they're young,
they're young and they're excited, and I totally don't mind it. But I'm glad I said.
But a lot of this movie is surprisingly, and I always remember this from the original. Like, it's surprisingly dealing with like issues of like one main character in this movie is a social welfare officer.
Yeah.
And
was she from Wayne's World?
That's Tia Carrera.
Oh
yeah.
my
Oh my god, I had
God.
the biggest crush on
I
her
did
from
too.
Wayne's World.
I was just like, Wayne's World. I can't remember your name, but I love you.
And I used to watch that TV show with her. Do you remember? It used to be on Sky One where she was basically Indiana Jones.
No, but I loved it.
Tomb Raider, and it was pretty naff, but I used to love that as well. So he's asking me, so like, who is she? And I'm like, well, and then she's like,
social worker.
and then he's asking me all these huge questions, and where are their mommy and daddy? And I'm like, well, they've died. And he's like, why? And
you're like,
anyway,
because it's a Disney movie. They cannot have parents who were alive.
Exactly, but okay, so yeah, I said it already, but the two actresses are excellent. So
They're perfect together.
Actually,
it's such a good bond.
Exactly. So the movie hangs on two things. It's the relationship with the sisters, which I thought was beautiful, made me emotional, and I bought it. And the other one is the relationship between Lilo and Stitch, which is essential. And I think the animation in this movie is next level. It's so
brilliant.
good.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It is seamless. Now, I'm only speaking about Stitch. I think some of the, we start in the space world.
That was the opening sequence. Not for me.
No, and it works a lot better in the animated thing because I think the transition from animated space battles to animated Earth it feels very of the same universe, but here we kind of start in.
I'm coming for live action, not for whatever.
And it doesn't feel like live action.
Yeah.
It's like, however, so that aside, Stitch and the design of Stitch, I think, is iconic. He's adorable. And I just love the character, this little ball of energy and mayhem. Yeah. Now his voice, here's the fun fact, his voice is, he's voiced by Chris Sanders, who is the original writer of Lilo and Stitch and the creator of it all.
Did he originally voice Stitch?
He did, yeah. So he came back and he's got a writing credit on this.
Because I was thinking, from memory, it sounds like the same voice, and why wouldn't they use the same voice actor? But I wasn't sure.
Exactly, and it's an idea he came up with in the 80s and started working at Disney, worked his way up. He worked on like the heyday, like Lion and King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. He worked on all of them. Yeah, I don't know if he did Little Mermaid. And then they said, they gave him a chance and be like, we want you to do the next film in the late 90s. And he said, he had this idea from way back in the 80s of this monster that lived in a forest, and it kind of evolved into Lilo and Stitch. And but he's such a good writer, and the man also wrote and directed Wild Robot last year.
Oh wow!
And he wrote and adapted How to Train Your Dragon, which is also being turned into an animated remake.
Wait, it's coming out like next month.
This summer. So
wow, he's having a good year.
He is animation royalty and
also voice actor extraordinaire, because he does a great
really
Stitch.
Good. Yeah, I mean, he brings Stitch to life.
When Stitch goes, family. it's like E.T. level,
It is.
Yeah.
But I think that character, that's what I was saying before we went in, this character I think has been underrepresented in pop culture. When you compare him to someone like E.T., I think he's up there with E.T.
I think where Lilo and Stitch got slightly buried in that it was in Disney's downward spiral.
Yeah, it was
like
a bit
Disney
of a Pixar were on the up at this point.
Disney was on the way down, Pixar was on the way up.
Yeah.
So Disney didn't really come back again till Frozen, I think. So I think this just got a little bit lost. Like, even the fact that now this has hammered Mission Impossible, but back in the day, the fact that Minority Report beat it. Do you know what I mean?
But I think that's because this movie is good. The original movie is great and stood up on its own. So a lot of people will have discovered it over the past 23 years.
One of the reasons I saw that this tracked so well in a box office, aside from the family audience that we've gone in, there's been a ton of cinema goers, something like a third of cinema goers were not there with children, because they're like millennials who grew up watching it and are just really invested in the characters, because apparently there was also a TV show of it, which I never saw or heard
I
of.
never saw that either.
So it has actually got a really deep fan base of much older people now, whereas when you take your very old remakes such as your Snow White, like there's no deep fan base for Snow White hanging around dying to see a remake. Not to shit on Snow White again. So that's really interesting, and it's why, like the upcoming one, for example, with Lindsay Lohan, where they're doing Freakier Friday, her and Jamie Lee Curtis, like that's such a great idea, because you'll capture all the people who are now older but who loved that franchise. Yeah. But you'll also get family audiences. So the timing of these things is really crucial as well. Should we go to spoilers?
Before we do, I'll just say I think I have issues with this film. I'll get into them in spoilers. But one question you do have to ask, the main question you ask with all of these live action remakes is why? And the answer to that is always money. However, the other thing is, have they added any? What have they changed? Why have they changed it? Have they improved on anything?
I think the introduction of the real life Lilo and Stitch, to me, brings it to life even more and brings the culture to life. And I think it's a big tick for me. It's a good remake.
I think compared to a lot of the other ones, this feels like a lot better fit. Like it's a world that it's just our world. You know,
exactly, it's contemporary.
It's contemporary, so it didn't feel like a complete stretch with something like The Lion King, where what have you done? Why this isn't live action? You've just animated it again.
Fake animals.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I never understood that.
So
whereas in the Jungle Book, at least we had a kid.
So from that perspective, it doesn't feel like it's the wrong jigsaw puzzle in a thing. Like it feels like natural enough to do this. Does it improve on the original? I gotta say, no. I think the changes that they make are actively worse than what we had already, and they seem to have made this movie longer.
People have complained in our DMs about changes.
And I'll get into it.
Let's go to spoilers because I don't remember what happened in the first one, so I don't know what they changed. Let's not spoil for anyone.
If you ask me which one you should watch, it is always going to be the original, but this is totally a good film as well.
But it's not a binary thing, like you can watch both. And kids love watching iterations of the same thing, like it's very comforting for them.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think for a child audience, you know, if you're not going to catch this on the cinema, I'd say watch the original one on if you have Disney Plus, and then when this comes out, watch this on Disney Plus.
The things that this does that maybe the original don't is you get full human performances, which I think are exceptional. And you get, I think, incredible animation from Stitch that looks seamless with real world, which when you think only 25 years ago that was done for the first time really with Jar Jar Binks. I know you could have Roger Rabbit going further back, but with a 3D character, I think when you see the skill of the animators on display here,
and before spoiler street, shout out to the two aliens turned into humans. Very good.
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis and Billy Magnussen.
Magnusson's my new favourite actor.
He's really funny, isn't he?
We watched him in
the franchise.
He was the best thing in it. He beat Richard E. Grant in that, and that's a tough gig. He outshone Richard E. Grant in the franchise. And what else did we watch him in?
I can't remember.
Something quite recently. Very good anyway. Zach Galifianakis, truly I didn't recognise him. He's actually much minor. He doesn't have as much to do here.
It's more of a straight role.
Yeah.
Like Billy Magnussen is doing the big work.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to spoilers. Before we do, quick shout out to all of our patrons who support us over at patreon.com/theCinemile. We'd love if you could join in on the community chats where we chat to everyone daily. We're talking to our patrons there. We're talking The Last of Us.
We've finished The Last of Us. Yeah.
We've covered all those episodes. We've just binged the show Sirens on Netflix. We're going to do an episode on that. We're going to be, Kathy mentioned Little Miss Sunshine, which we did last month. You can get to vote on what we watch next in our retro movie club, so there's lots of stuff happening over there.
So thanks to all our wonderful patrons, and also usually we do TV reviews on Patreon. However, I will be reviewing And Just Like That season 3 right here on the Cinema feed with weekly guests.
Is this season 4? Is this
season 3?
Oh right.
So check that out. Also now on to spoilers for Lilo and Stitch, and you may hear a quick ad.
Okay, so spoilers now for Lilo and Stitch.
I can't believe you had the
what
audacity to question me on And Just Like That. I'm enraged.
I could have sworn that's been around for 3 seasons.
It's been around for 500 years. It feels like an eternity.
So while we're talking about Billy Magnussen and Zach Galifianakis, when they first showed up in that scene where they clone the two people and then they try to book into the hotel,
so funny.
That was laugh out loud funny, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. And they both had nailed the movements of like practicing to walk.
It was brilliant.
And then I thought none of their scenes after that hit those heights, and I realized the problem is they didn't have them interact with any humans for the rest of the movie.
Right.
Did you
at the
notice
end
that?
They had the blonde guy doing it.
Doing what?
Interacting with humans at the very end.
Yeah, but barely. Oh, there was a little bit of him in the car, and
I just love when he's he's like, I'm from, when he's trying to check in and they're like, where are you from? And he's like, I'm
Earth.
from Earth, of course. And they're like, okay. Like, is that in the cartoon, all that stuff?
I don't remember. I was struggling to remember a lot of this. That scene mightn't have been, but I mean, they disguise themselves as humans. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember specifics, if I'm honest. It's been a few years since I've seen the original movie. But I mean, a lot of the things that were clearly different and changed that I could spot.
Am I
were
imagining it? Less Elvis, much less Elvis.
I can't speak to the quantity of Elvis, but they added the gun from Portal, the video game Portal, for some reason.
That was fun.
Which is fun. It's a fun thing, but it's a straight rip-off of that.
When the butt was going up and down through the portal,
yeah, that's kind of funny.
Went wild.
But you
have to think of the age group here.
I guess I don't know why that was needed. I really did. I realized watching it, I wanted the shot-for-shot remake. That's not what I got. Yeah,
despite all our complaints.
Because I think all of the changes didn't add anything. They just detracted it. So it
also
felt
longer.
Right? It felt like much longer. So I don't know why they made it longer, just to add more stuff in.
I love that they still had the iconic surfing scenes. They were so cute.
But the surfing scene, there's this. So two things which were just added in, which I think were just. I don't know why we needed this. Stitch is like gets denser in water and then sinks to the bottom, and then there's this whole thing of like, is he dead? And it's like it went on for ages. There's a whole other set piece on the spaceship. Not all of that was just added. It was just like, it felt like somebody looked at this and was like, we need to go bigger. When it doesn't. The whole core of the movie is the relationship between Lilo and Stitch and him.
There's a real adult angle
to
it where I'm watching it and I'm like, this social worker has given all the reasons, all the things she needs to do to keep like custody of her sister, which is a huge thing for a teenage girl to be doing. And then they bring Stitch home and I was like, you'd have never brought that dog home.
No.
And then all of the plans unravel and I was like on the edge of my seat for the whole film, being like, oh my god, like in no good conscience can this child be left with this sister. In the film, in the original, is that how it resolves? Does she live with the neighbour at the end?
No, she does. There's no college. She doesn't go to college. The neighbour doesn't take Stitch. Now all that, like that all kind of Lilo. That all did actually make a kind of a sense. Like the sister is clearly struggling.
Like the sister's been humanised in this film, I think, to be like, she also has dreams and desires.
Yeah, and actually I thought that was the one change I was quite satisfied with. I think that did make a lot of sense. Like she was struggling. She needed to go off and get her college degree.
Maybe that's clever on their side as well, because maybe they understood the older audience angle of this. Like I said, a lot of people going without kids, so it's like a character for us to be invested in, because really I wouldn't be kind of happy for either of them if they remained in that situation, because it's very unsafe. Like,
yes, correct.
So I mean, like, when the poor thing, like we've been there where you're trying to work and you don't have childcare, but then never mind if you're actually a waitress and you have to bring the kid and her alien dog to your restaurant. Like, that was all very funny, the chaos ensued. It's also very distressing as a parent to watch. So I liked that, but I truly, by the end, our kids had no idea what's going on in that plot.
I mean, I didn't.
But they didn't care.
To me, the stuff that works in this movie is the emotion and Stitch's hijinks.
Yeah.
So seeing him break glass or wreck their house and set fire to things, that you can do all that with relatively grounded stakes. They added in all this big Act 3 conflict. So the monster, the scientist coming to their house with a portal gun and destroying their house.
It's very
correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any of that was in it. Then they go on the spaceship, then there's an underwater thing, and it's just like, it felt like the movie just kept trying to one-up itself by upping the scale. And I'm like, no, by doing that, you've reduced the emotional impact of these characters.
Yeah,
if
but
you
this movie knew what it was playing against. If Tom Cruise was going to hang off a plane, you were stitching impossibling this thing and having Lilo in space, okay? And they won. And in 20
that's
years'
not
time,
why.
I want a different.
Win because they did a Stitch and Impossible.
In 20 years' time, I want 90-year-old Tom Cruise hanging off something, and this little girl from Stitch and Impossible grown up, and she is like in the plane above him doing a better stunt.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you want this war to occur every 20 years at the box office.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch will return.
Till the end of time.
Until Tom Cruise. Well, Tom Cruise will be a Futurama head in the jar by then. He'll keep going. He'll keep going for the rest of time.
Anyway, I'm really glad we've seen these back.
I know. I'm glad. I had a great time. It's a lovely trip to the cinema. Nice to see a movie that's actually good, make a lot of money and be family friendly, and I think could be as good an adaptation, as good a result of a completely soulless money grabbing project that you could hope for.
I don't think it's a soulless money grabbing project though, because there's heart in this film. The original creators involved like for him, this would have been a creative endeavor.
Yeah, but it's not. He didn't come to Disney and say,
have.
"I think we need to remake Lilo Stitch."
Are you speaking with
didn't.
authority here?
Yeah, I am.
You're not.
I'm speaking
So,
with the
if I was
authority of
him-
someone who has experienced the last 15 years of Disney
If I was
BS.
him and I was like, do you know what? When you're making another Lion King live action, which is again just a load of animals, would you consider my movie, which has actual human beings in it, was brilliant, is beloved? He may have pitched, so I refuse
maybe
to
he
listen
did.
to you saying it's a cash grab.
And they would have looked down at their notebook, and then we said, "Let me just check the flow chart. Just so, is it an animated
Yeah, but
movie
that's
that we
how-
made?
But Dave, that's
Yes.
how every movie
Turn it into a live action.
We're not here
We
to
did it.
debate the existence of live action. We're here to
No,
review
we don't
this
have to
film.
debate it because it is inherently pointless.
It's not. In this instance,
It
I
is.
really enjoyed
It is soulless as hell.
I really enjoyed it, and there was soul to it.
That's my point. I enjoyed it too, despite
Okay.
the process.
Right, we are getting off now.
You're
Dave's,
defending the process.
Dave's getting off his soapbox. We're finished. Come follow us on.
You're the one on the soapbox.
Come and follow
Get
us.
it off your soapbox with your
You get
ridiculous
off.
position.
If you want to chat to us about this movie, we would love to hear from you. Come over to Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, or Letterboxd. We'd love to chat to you. If you would please like to leave us a review, we'd greatly appreciate it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Even if you write a little review, that would be great because that helps people find us. And come over to Patreon for more chats, and see you for our And Just Like That reviews.
Or maybe you're a Luddite like us and like me and you want to email us. You can do that, thecinemile@gmail.com.
Do Luddites email?
Or you can send us a pigeon. Just fasten your note to a pigeon's leg
Yeah, and send it to Cork.
and then
We'll see it.
whisper the Cinemile
Okay,
in its
goodbye.
ears. Bye.
No. I'm gonna give you to the count of 3, Stitch. 1.